Here's Brody Brazil.
There are basically three pillars supporting Major League Baseball. You've got the owners, you've got the players, and then there's you, I assume, watching, the fan. Now, the owners are represented by Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred. The players are obviously represented by MLB-PA, that's the Players Association, but who is out there to represent the fans in general or in total? And the one way that fans can truly speak their mind and make their voice heard is by attendance. Do they buy tickets? Do they show up? Their presence is kind of the statement alone, and I know it's early here in the 2025 baseball season, and I know there's been some cold weather across the United States, but I do believe that in 3 select markets here already, you've got fans making their statement and speaking with attendance numbers alone. Now, before we get into St. Louis, Chicago, and Sacramento, Northern California, I don't know what to call it yet. Let's actually begin with a report from Major League Baseball that came out after last season. The 2024 MLB report said that baseball had its highest game attendance across North America. 71.3 million plus fans attended big league games. That was the highest game attendance since the 2017 season. So after COVID and after all the recoveries and everything else, they had their first really good season in a long time. And in fact, it was the first back-to-back seasons with attendance gains, so 23 and 24. First time they've had back-to-back years with attendance gains in a dozen years. So it kind of paints the picture of a trend where baseball popularity, at least from an attendance standpoint, it wasn't great. All of a sudden, baseball as a whole is doing a lot better. Now, I think you can largely credit a huge stadium in Southern California where the Dodgers play as part of this, and obviously the Yankees making it to the World Series. That probably helped too. But overall baseball attendance, right, they're saying is looking good. Media growth in a very important demographic, that's ages 18 to 34, it grew on ESPN, FS1, and MLB Network. And MLB.TV, they say they streamed 14.5 billion minutes, which was a 14% increase over the 2023 season. So baseball is painting a pretty good picture here of attendance and growth and the way things are going. But that makes it really stand out here in the very first season series in Chicago, and it's the White Sox hosting the Angels. Look at the picture here from Sam Blum. Lots of empty seats for the White Sox and Angels at first pitch. Now, again, I understand. It's still the time of year where school is in session, and some of these are weeknight games, and sometimes the weather does not cooperate in late March, early April across the country. But opening day, opening series, opening week, and yeah, the White Sox, they lost 120-plus games last year, the worst big league season in modern history, and they didn't really improve their team. So my point is twofold here. I understand why the fans are speaking their mind by not showing up. Because at the same respect, they have every reason, they should have every reason to be excited to come to the ballpark. Like, it should be normal that this stadium is full. I almost said guaranteed rate field. It's just called rate field now, but for a lot of reasons, this should be a very good big crowd. Mike Trout is there. But look at that attendance right there. And so again, I think you can understand there's something going on, and the White Sox fans are trying to send a message. Okay, let's come out west to California. It's the A's first season of several in their brand new but temporary home. Sutter Health Park, as you know, has been a minor league stadium for about 20 years. This past winter, they did upgrades and renovations to try and bring it up to Major League standards. They had to build the A's a brand new clubhouse out in left field because, oh yeah, they're having 2 teams there. The River Cats all summer and the Athletics all summer long. We'll see how that goes. But in terms of attendance, now game 1, they didn't announce a 14,000 number on opening night, which my understanding is that the stadium has 10,000 seats. It also has the ability to bring in 4,000 additional fans who sit out there in right field on that grass area. And it was 13-something for opening night. Okay, but it looked full. Let's just give them that. But here's game 2. Here's the second game ever for the A's in Sacramento. And yes, this was the crowd during the national anthem. So let's also give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they're filtering in. Maybe they're still getting food. Matt George of a local television station up there sharing us the visuals, but he said he was going to take a photo later during the third inning, and he did, and this is what it looks like. Now, if there's 10,000 seats, I mean, I see full rows there in multiple sections. Are we talking like 5,000, 7,000 actual attendance of a 14,000 seat ballpark? But let me bring it back to this. I mean, this is baseball in a brand new market. This was strategic for the A's of where to go because they thought they would sell out every game. Now, ticket prices, I think, were pretty monumental for this first weekend series, and actually week series, I should say, and also really for the entire season. The prices are way up there because of obvious supply and demand, but shouldn't the honeymoon period and the excitement be at least a half a season? Shouldn't there be sellouts like no questions asked? I mean, we're talking about other teams in baseball like the Dodgers and even the Angels in Southern California. They fill their stadiums on a regular basis, or at least get 30 to 40,000. This is Sacramento, and it's not a knock against Sacramento. It's more about the overall situation. Is this because it was too cold on a Tuesday night, or the tickets were too expensive? I mean, it's the Cubs in town, so that should be a certain draw. Or maybe the fan base up there just isn't really moved by the Athletics and their plan to come here for a couple years, use the stadium, use the city, not ever wear the Sacramento name across their chest, and then move on right out of town. So it's really interesting. Bob Nightingale pointing out that the attendance on Game 2, by the way, we never said what the number was, 10,095. That's 2024 fans fewer, like last year, than last night's 2025 inaugural MLB opener at Sutter Health Park. Maybe it's a one-off. Maybe it's a small sample size. Again, we are only talking about opening night to Game 2, but I've been saying here on this YouTube channel, if the A's didn't sell out any games over the course of 3 years for only 10,000 total seats and 14,000 total capacity at this minor league ballpark, that would be kind of a red flag for one of several reasons. Ben Ross of Bay Area Media here says that 10,095 means not even all of the fixed seats. It's actually 10,624 were sold. And again, we should declare that the number being announced for attendance is tickets sold. So maybe all the tickets did sell. But why didn't the fans show up, or did the tickets not actually sell? That remains one of the biggest discrepancies in professional sports. Paid attendance versus announced attendance versus like the eye test. Those photos prove everything. We can plainly see how many people showed up and didn't. Okay, from Sacramento to St. Louis, Katie Wu, who covers the Cardinals, the other night had this tweet. The Cardinals are off to a good start this year, but that hasn't stopped fans from sending a message to ownership. The announced attendance of 21,206 at Busch Stadium 3, current Busch Stadium, is the smallest crowd in stadium history. Benjamin also on Twitter points out, we'll find out later, but this could be a historically low attendance here at Busch Stadium for an in-school year Monday night versus the Angels during a Cardinals transition year. What is it about the poor Angels? They show up to Chicago and nobody shows up. They show up to St. Louis and nobody shows up. This was the crowd, Benjamin says, as the Cardinals took the field. There's the photo. Yikes. What is going on there? I mean, that is a substantially small crowd. That looks like a crowd in Oakland after the A's had announced that they were leaving town next year. I mean, that is a statement right there. That few fans for a great ballpark like St. Louis, and I understand it's a team that has been struggling, has had some recent success, like within the last decade, but now fans are frustrated. This is the report from KSDK.com, also a local television station in the St. Louis market. The St. Louis Cardinals on Monday drew the smallest non-COVID-19 crowd in the history of Busch Stadium. So it happened. The MLB franchise announced a paid attendance of 21,206 for its 5-4 loss to the Los Angeles Angels, despite getting off to a good start this year, now with a 3-1 record. Anger with the DeWitt family, they're the owners of the Cardinals, which owns the team, and John Mozeliak, president of baseball operations, has been evident, including with audible boos on opening day this year. That's right. The ownership and the front office got booed when introduced on opening day. The team has said it is investing in player development and saw one of the biggest payroll declines in the league for this offseason. And I just want to say that does seem to be the biggest source of frustration for Cardinals fans, is that they're mediocre and not even trying to get better. And the president of baseball operations, John Mozeliak, he's actually outgoing. This is his last year on the job. And when he was introduced and when he was booed, he talked about this, that on opening day, quote, "I don't have any intentions of giving a speech today, but if so, you know what my message would be? So when they boo me," this was before he got booed, "I can say I'm leaving. You got your wish." Like, celebrate the moment. That according to MLB.com. So fans are not happy in St. Louis. And again, is it because of the weather that night? Was it too cold? I think there was a rain delay game, one of the other games of that series, but what do all these open seats say, right? Again, these are fans who don't have a commissioner to represent them, at least right now. They don't have a fans association to represent them right now in their displeasure with certain teams and the way they're doing things and what they're spending on and what they're trying to do and not trying to do and moving out of a market or moving into a market. So this is how fans speak up with their attendance figures. And I do think that in the case of these three cities, there are different statements to be made. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments section below. Also, while you're down there, thumbs up for this video. Greatly helps me and this channel. And one more thing, don't forget to go down there and hit that subscribe button so I can definitely see you back here next time.